Dear Penthouse Forum, I never thought it would happen to me, but one of my players totally just banished the boss monster that I cooked up for them. So a while ago, I'd made a video about about how you should try not using boss monsters in an encounter. But someone had pretty much rebutted to my video by saying you're just doing it wrong because yeah, you can totally make boss monsters viable by actively taking advantage of their layer actions and their legendary actions, and just have along with whatever they got. That really evens up the playing field. So recently in an adventure, the party had defeated a previous boss monster, which was a mummy lord, and it was a pretty good fight. I think I ran it pretty well. I forgot some of the some of the layer actions, but I kept the legendary ones in mind. And it was a mummy lord, and they got pretty piss poor hit dice, but they've got pretty good spells. So as long as I opened up strong on those, and then went well with that. And then soon enough, the friggin' yeah, so soon enough, the party came to fight this, like a bit, lower in this dungeon where the Mummy Lord was. They had fought this thing that I cooked up that was a dual elemental, and this is a fire elemental that had been combined with a water elemental, and the water elemental had been altered so that it was in fact a goo elemental that was like oozing out this semi-solid fluid that was like pouring around in the arena. So the idea was that like first layer actions at the top of initiative, this big wave of goo would come out of these grates and tiles in the floor, and then just like push them back, like push the party back towards the edge of the room with the force of it, and be difficult terrain. And then on the outside the arena was like this kind of this microwave hallway that would like have hot air running through. So if they fell too far back and ended up in the hallway outside, then they get blasted with hot air. And there are also a similar like kind of vents in the floor where this hot air would burst out, and the two elementals would switch place every turn. So when the goo elemental came out, then it'd be pushing them back into the grates, and then when the fire elemental came out, it would be activating the heat bends and hot bursts. So I think it was an alright encounter that was built up, and they'd also have their own attacks each time they switch places. So that was alright, and I never look good at any angle. Holy shit. So so it's the first round of combat, and the bard, he doesn't really know what to do, so he comes in and he has his gal go like what was it? Oh yeah, vicious mockery. You're ugly. I don't have much to say right now for an elemental. So then it was like, oh, I feel bad. So he had disadvantage on that, or on his next attack. But next up, right after that, the cleric cast banishment, and that's the thing that fucking banishes you to a demiplane. And so like I read over the rules, and I was like, okay, all right, this seems fair. I just have to succeed a charisma saving throw. So I rolled for it, and that was a 1. And and elementals have like 8 charisma normally, and I let it carry over, so it had a -1 modifier, so it had a grand total of 0 on that roll. I was like, oh shit, she just totally went around this boss encounter, didn't she? So I thought, oh wait, it's a dual elemental. That means there's 2 of them. I can still save this. All right, let's go. 5 -1, 4 total. So, and you could say, why didn't you just fudge the dice? I could say that, but honestly, my face would have betrayed me completely. There's nothing that my poker face was in another. It just wasn't there. I was not gonna save myself from this. So all those boss notes, boo, out the window. So that's another another important. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, well, you just have to keep concentration for a minute, and then he comes back, and then they were like, no, 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 no. If she keeps concentration the entire time, it's just gone forever. And then then I checked the spelling, and it was like, oh shit, that's how it works. Oh, sorry, TV's on. I was like, yeah, that is how it works. So then they're like, okay, so over the next minute, we're gonna look around the room. I was like, fuck, yeah, he's banished. So there went that whole encounter. They just just one level 4 spell, boop, gone. And I was a little salty about it at first, but then I just got used to it. So yeah, there's another. So let's look over the three. Let's just call them like the three pillars of boss monsters. And my fingers are fucking fat. So first pillar, uh, make sure that you're using your layer actions, because those happen every turn, and the players can't really do anything to stop it. You know, it really takes out the weaker guys who don't have a whole lot of like a dexterity or a armor class. You know, so that's pretty good. Step 2, use your legendary actions. You know, because they just got limited actions on their turn, then it's just really important to keep in mind what you can do on the rest of the party's turn. So that really makes them deadly. And number 3, have some minions. So the fucking cleric or whatever doesn't just cast banishment, poof, gone forever. But let's see, what else? So like, granted, if the thing had made the save, then she would have just lost the friggin'. She would have just lost the spell slot entirely, and you know then it would have continued normally. But you know what? That's just how the dice roll. That's just how the dice falls. You can't complain too much. Took a risk, and the monster failed. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like if it cast some fuck off huge awesome spell, then and she failed, like, well, that's how it goes. That's what happens when you use dice. So yeah, maybe in the future I gotta like maybe plan more specifically towards that or something, or just give it like the super special legendary resistance where it just succeeds on a failed save. So yeah, I was a little salty after that, but then I just let it go, and it's fine, and at least it's a funny story now. So yeah, whoops. Have a nice night.